Here we go. Welcome to the Flare Up Show. Today I have the fabulous Jane Durst-Pulkys. She's a clinical, hopefully I pronounced that right. I forgot to ask you in the green room. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. She's a clinical and holistic nutritionist, author, educator, and life coach. She specializes in metabolic balance, weight management practices in Canada, and is the USA brand ambassador for Metabolic Balance and national license holder for Hong Kong. She consults with clients from all walks of life around the world, Fortune 500 companies. Find Jane's work to be extremely valuable for their executives and employees. She is also the author of the new best-selling book, The Metabolic Balance Kitchen. Welcome, Jane. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Chrissy, for having me on today.
Very, very excited. I would love to start. I always love to start at the beginning and a little bit personal. I was wondering if you could share a little bit about who you are, what your story is, and how metabolic health became a focus for your life.
Well, I'm one of these people that at a very, very early age was fascinated by nutrition and fascinated by what I could create in the kitchen. And of course, I had a huge family. There was 9 kids in my family, and I was experimenting with everything. But the turning point was I decided to make homemade shampoo and put it in a lemon juice bottle, put it in the fridge, and then my mom covered the fish with it. And that was when she said, you know what? It's time for you to study nutrition. So I went to university, I got my degree in nutrition. Then I had my own catering business for several years. I raised 3 boys. And when I was 40, I thought, okay, it's time for me to go back to work. But I really wanted to do something that was going to make a huge difference on people's health. And so I looked and looked and looked, and I started doing consultations. But I found that all that did for me was put money in my pocket because it wasn't customized and it wasn't individualized until I was introduced to this program called Metabolic Balance, which is a program that exists in 45 countries around the world. It is designed specifically to lower inflammation, to balance out your hormones, to help people to lose weight. And I ran with this program and I started to do hundreds and hundreds of clients, and I learned so much about people. I learned about the behaviors of eating and, why people have a hard time, doing the program versus people that it was really easy. And then I had clients asking me, I need more information. I want recipes. I want to be able to have something that's solid. There was a book and is a book that was written by the doctor, whose name is Dr. Wolf Fun Fact. But if you and I picked it up, it wasn't exactly user friendly.
Mm,
So I thought, okay, you know what? I think it's time for me to do something. So for the last 4 years, I have spent all my time finishing my PhD in nutrition so that I could get this book out there. And now it finally arrived on December the 10th, and it immediately hit bestseller Amazon USA, Amazon Canada, and it's also a bestseller on Amazon Canada, Amazon USA, and USA Today. So we were so excited with this because really, Chrissy, the timing of this is absolutely perfect because we live in a world where burger's the king and dairy's the queen. And we have 5 new food groups: frozen, fast, fried, junk, and processed. And people aren't feeling great. And what's happening with all this is we are seeing an uptake in metabolic syndrome. Now, you've probably heard of that word before, but it's really a name that signifies that you have a problem in the body. And metabolic syndrome includes diabetes, heart disease, cardiovascular problems, blood lipid disorders, and even high blood pressure. And metabolic syndrome is caused because the hormone insulin is too high in your body for too long. So it creates something called visceral fat. Now, we all have 4 fats in the body: brown fat, white fat, subcutaneous fat, visceral fat. We know the subcutaneous one that's at our waist. We don't like it, but it doesn't hurt us. The white fat is mostly in your shoulders. So you want to jump in the lake in Canada in the middle of the winter time, you could turn that on. It'll speed up your metabolism, but very
mm.
harsh. Um, then you have your white fat. So if you get on the Peloton and you start depleting your liver and your muscles, you're going to turn into your white fat. But the most dangerous fat of all is the fat that lies right behind your belly button, and that's called visceral fat. The problem with visceral fat, it wraps around the organs like the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, the pancreas, and it puts these inflammatory cytokines into your system, causing something called inflammation. And we now know scientifically that inflammation is now responsible for 90% of people's problems. And
Hmm.
why is this happening? Because insulin levels are too high. This program is designed to bring the insulin levels down, to regulate it, and to address all the other symptoms that a person has. And it's done by giving you your own unique program. So, as I said in the beginning, I used to sell programs that I would make up. It got me money in my pocket, but it didn't work. What's beautiful about this program, the client goes and gets their 36 blood values done at the lab. Then we look at everything. Do they have migraines? Do they have headaches? Do they have Lyme disease? Do they have lupus? Do they have arthritis? Do they have anything? So we take the blood work and then we take their personal health history. And then in Germany, where the programs are made, they match it together. So lots and lots of clients have thyroid issues. Well, there's so many foods that can bother it, but so many foods that can help it. Same
Yes.
for perimenopause, for menopausal symptoms, for PCOS, anything. We can take every single thing and match it to help the person balance the body. Now, what's different about this test and what I love about this test is when we do the panel of blood test, we also run something called CRP. So this is the marker for inflammation in your body. A lot of doctors won't do that test, but when we have that CRP test, we know with the high level of inflammation in the body, we need to get this down. This will lower blood pressure. This will lower cholesterol. This will lower type 2 diabetes. This will bring the body back into balance. And I personally have done over 1,400 of these programs, and I have seen miraculous things happen to people. People who had full on non alcoholic fatty liver disease, gone. People who have type 2 diabetes, gone. People who have high blood pressure, their doctors have lowered their medication. People with psoriasis and gout and you name it, we were able to address it because it is customized for each individual person. I know that's a lot that I just threw at you, and you probably have a question.
No, it's good. It's good. I love it. I'm soaking it all in. I'm a
Yeah.
sponge. I love it. It's funny. One of the things around weight is there's quite a few people out there that talk about, oh, it's just calorie in versus calorie out. And that's absolutely not true. And it actually sets people up for shame and failure. And then when people are
Yeah.
ashamed, they develop more stress, which develops more cortisol, which adds more insulin. Like it's such a cycle of misunderstanding. And it's kind of unfortunate, is it, in a way, like we're naturally humans. This shouldn't be rocket science to figure out how to live well, but there's so many environmental factors now that are sort of getting in the way, right? Which is why you get down to the root of the bioindividuality, right?
Yeah. And as a nutritionist, I honestly never, ever, ever look at how many calories the food has.
Mm.
And I remember when I used to work out at the YMCA, my friends were all looking at how many calories they're burning on this machine and this machine. This program is not about calories. This
Mm-mm.
is about giving you, your body, exactly what it needs in the perfect amount of protein, the perfect amount of carbohydrates, the perfect amount of fat. Because when you get those things balanced in your body, cravings for sugar go away, cravings for salt go away, grazing all night goes away, having to have, Coca-Cola or whatever you're drinking, it all goes away because when the nutritional needs are met by your personal body, you
Yeah.
do not want certain things. So this is the beauty of this program because I have a lot of clients like, oh my God, I want to lose the weight, but am I ever going to be able to have pizza and potato chips and yes, you will, but you will do it differently because you will find that when you eat that, you actually don't feel very good.
Yeah.
And you might be able to have one or two pieces like me, but I know like more than that, I'm done. And you start to look for, I was just on all inclusive the other day and I said to my husband, I need the mangoes, I need the papaya, I need the avocados, I need the vitamin D and the fish. And that's what I hunt for. And I love to eat food. So, but I
Mhm.
want that real whole food that's going to make me feel so good because, a lot of us walk around with very, very low energy. And this type of food increases one's energy, tenfold, which who doesn't want to have that? But
Can I share?
it's definitely not about calories. We do not do
No.
anything about calories. It's about giving you the high biological value food with the low glycemic index. In English, that means I'm going to give you food that's going to make you feel great for till the next meal, to the next meal, to the next meal.
Yes. I was giggling because I was thinking of a time when I was with a family member and we were at like a retreat out in the forest and we cooked our own food and I had made like a chickpea salad for lunch and they ate it and they were actually mad after because they're like, my plan was to have a beautiful nap after lunch and you ruined it because now I feel like I can't sit still. I'm like,
Yeah,
kind of a good problem, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Tell
yeah.
us a little bit about now you talked about the macros, so the protein, the carbohydrates, and the fat. That also changes as our body changes, right? I've been learning, especially being menopausal myself, hearing a lot about that need for protein becomes much more significant than in the past. Can you share a little bit about why protein is specifically so important? And I know I was reading in one of your articles about always start a meal with 2 bites of protein. Could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, let me talk about why you. So there's basically 8 rules that people follow
Mhm.
when they're on this program, and then they will follow this long term. You start the meal with 2 bites of protein because when you do that first, you do not turn on the hormone insulin, you turn on the hormone glucagon. This is an antagonist of insulin. So if you wake up in the morning and you have a banana and a cappuccino, your sugars are just going to go really, really high. What metabolic balance is designed to do, particularly in regards to protein, is we want to make sure your sugars do not fluctuate. The average sugar is between 4 and 6. So we should have a nice ebb and flow all day. But what happens to most people is they get this. They eat a Slurpee or they have a bagel or they have a donut or they have, a Pop Tart. I don't know. I mean, people eat everything. But when you eat something like that, you have a sudden surge of insulin being released by the pancreas into the bloodstream. The problem with that, though, is that if you continually do this to the body, I mean, I go to Starbucks every day and get a tea just to get out of the house and, see people for a minute. I can't believe how many pumps of that syrup that people put in there. That's going to drive the insulin levels up so high, then the body becomes insensitive. So we can't get insulin into the cells so that you can feel good. So protein actually allows the body's um, sugars to stay balanced throughout the course of the day. So if you don't have protein in the morning, by lunchtime, you're going to eat your arm. By dinner time, you're going to throw in the towel and eat something that's really bad. When you get that perfect protein, along with the carbs and along with the fats, you're able to stabilize. And this is what's going to manage your hormones, the inflammation, and the weight. And it works incredibly well because when people start this program, they have their own food list. So again, nobody has the same program. They start the meal with 2 bites of protein. They instantly will feel satiated. So the next time you're having dinner or lunch or breakfast or you go to a cocktail party, go get a piece of cheese before you touch anything else because that'll stop the release of insulin. And that's exactly what we're trying to do so that you feel satiated for the long, long periods of time. The other thing that's a big problem that I've noticed as a nutritionist, a lot of people come and say to me, I don't eat any fat. I don't eat oils and everything is low fat, low fat, low fat. Well, if you eat low fat, you're going to be looking for something later. You really do need that fat for so many things, making hormones for one, and making you have heat and giving you the extra calories for all that stuff. But we really do want to make sure that what they get is exactly what their body requires. So when metabolic balance programs are made, age is taken into consideration too. The size of the waist is most important. because if you were to take one of those cloth measuring tapes and wrap it right around your abdomen, ideally you want to come in at 35 inches for a female at the belly button or 40 for the male. Once
Mhm.
that number exceeds 35 inches, then you are at a risk of developing metabolic syndrome. And metabolic balance treats exactly that by giving you a food plan that's going to address all of your health concerns until we reach the goal. And then clients are able to live this way for the rest of their life without any injections. They actually learn how to eat properly because we don't know what those long-term effects of these injections are.
Mhm.
And, quite frankly, it doesn't teach you anything. And, we're trying to maintain this temple of a body, but we can't do that with injections. We need to also just learn, and it's easy. The food plans are quite easy. It's simple. It's nothing complicated. It's like you might be having yogurt and fruit for breakfast, or you might be having eggs and avocado and rye bread. We use the rye bread because it has a high biological value. And lunchtime might be that chickpea salad, which is so satisfying too because of the fiber. It makes you feel full. So it's all clean, natural food prepared easily and in a timely manner. And actually, eating this way is way less expensive to eat this way because there's no waste. You're actually,
No.
yeah, no waste at all. So,
Yes, one of the things that my husband and I have been doing lately, which has made a big difference too, is not buying like going to Costco and buying a boatload of things.
right.
Now we tend to shop more, I guess, European style. Like, okay, what would you like to eat tonight and for breakfast? And then just go and getting what we need. And you save so much money, but also you're so much more intentional with what you're doing. And you also, if you come from a place of if you've ever been in like a trauma situation where you have food scarcity, it also reminds you that no, it's always there available. You are fine. You always have the ability to find what you need to
Yeah.
survive. So it's so helpful for us. That's been one of our tricks. And then reading through your book, he was excited because he's a Mediterranean. So he was like, there's a lot of things in here that I would normally already eat, right? So
Yeah.
and the recipes are very simple and easy. So I was thinking that if someone's out there is like, well, what if my family doesn't want to get on board? These are just real food. There's nothing crazy. You're not going
No.
out and finding, shark or like it's like it's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
simple things that everybody would easily be able to find in their
Right.
grocery store anyways, right?
Yeah. And the nice thing is too is if the mom in the household's on the program, let's just say she's got chicken, broccoli, carrots, and mango for dinner.
Hmm.
She can still prepare chicken for her family. She can still prepare the broccoli. She has to measure hers, but you can still eat with your family,
Hmm.
but you will be measuring your food. That's the only difference, but you can definitely completely eat with your family. And when a person's been on the program for 16 days, 1 day a week, they eat and drink whatever they want. So,
Hmm.
we're all pretty good during the week. It's the weekends. We want to kind of let our hair down and, have a little fun, maybe go to a party. This allows people to do that. But here's the funny thing, Chrissy. When they do that, they call me the next day. It's like, I feel
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, it's not
I
good.
have headache. I've got a stomach ache. I've got gas. I've got bloating. And it's like, wow, 16 days, because we do a cleanse in the beginning, really does make you really feel and notice the impact of food has on your body because so many times we ignore that. But when your body starts to operate better, then you'll notice it. And I always kind of think that metabolic balance is like the most expensive Swiss watch. If you have the most expensive Swiss watch, it has precision that is incredible. But if you get gunk in that Swiss watch, it's not going to work very well. When you remove the gunk, everything works. This is why people lose between 5 and 20 pounds, honestly, in the first 2 weeks. Once that gunk is removed, then the pathways can work better. The liver pathway, the bowel pathway, the lymphatic pathway, everything functions better and waste is removed. So it's common for people to lose anywhere from 5 to 20 pounds in the first 2 weeks. And safely and naturally. And the nice part is that when people are done, they actually look younger because that inflammation usually shows up in the face, and it when it's gone, it's gone. And they, I had a guy, um, he only wanted to do the plan because he just felt terrible. He's full of pain and joint aches and everything. And he was on the plan for 16 days. He saw me on a Monday, but on the Sunday, the day before we met again, he goes, Jane, I go to this place every year to lease my car. I walk in yesterday and the guy goes, and who are you? He didn't recognize. His face changed so much. And I was, even when I saw him on the Monday, he's like, oh my God, you look absolutely incredible. And when people look like that, other people are like, I don't know what it is, but I want what you have, right?
I want
Because
that. Yeah.
really, and the best part is I'm a hot yogi, crazy maniac, and he goes to yoga now. he's
Oh,
like,
I love
he's
it.
addicted.
So
So
good.
he's like, oh, thank you so much. So
I love it.
I
Yoga's
didn't
so
think I'd get
good
him
for
there, but
your,
he went, yeah.
yeah, it's so good for the vagus nerve and,
Oh
anyone
my
with
gosh,
stress issues. So
absolutely.
good.
Yeah.
So good. So good. What's your favorite recipe in your new book?
I think my favorite recipe is the mango chickpea salad.
Yes, I was just looking at that one today. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I just
And I'll
made
and I'll tell you why. Um, Everybody has a busy life, and I need to eat sometimes on the fly.
yeah.
So when I wake up in the morning, I usually either if I don't have fresh mangoes like the winter time right now, I'll take out the frozen mango. I'll add in avocados, green onions, tomatoes, frozen mango, balsamic vinegar, olive oil, and let it sit till lunchtime. Well, by lunchtime, the flavors have melded together, and you get that sweet and salty from the balsamic vinegar and the mango, and so satisfying, especially with the avocado. I just feel so full and so, but not bloated, ever feeling like you
Mhm.
need to enter your tent. Yeah, that would be one of my favorite recipes. The second favorite one would be the dewberry soup with the cauliflower and the goat cheese.
Oh, interesting. Yes, I'll have to try that. I'm a sweet person, which is bad, but I was looking at, I think it was the oats with the
Oh
spicy
yeah, yeah, that's good too.
chutney. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can try that too. Yes, my husband likes spicy too. Thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you, your work, and your book?
They can go to my website, which is janehealthcoach.com, and they can order the book right from the website. They also will get 5 free gifts if they order the book.
Mhm.
They can contact me, Jane, at janehealthcoach.com. And if they want, they can also book in with me a free 15-minute consultation. And we can go over any of the health things that they're looking to deal with. And yeah, I think that would be great.
That's amazing. We'll make sure all of that's in the show notes. And before we wrap up, are there any last words of wisdom or encouragement that you would like to leave the audience with?
You know, in my yoga class, they say you're never too old, never too bad, and never too broken to start something. So,
Mhm.
regardless of how old or how bad you feel, if you start today, you can make incredible changes. Just because you think your metabolism's screwed up, it's not. We can change that
Yes,
100%. Yeah.
yes, the body has an amazing capacity to heal.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Thank you so much, Jane.
Thank you, Chrissy.